represent that one.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us tonight on Sharky Waters Wednesday Night Dive. I'm your host, Dom, and this is my COVID crisis quarantine home that we call the Sharky Waters set. Come on, Deb, we were only just listening to you in the restroom on the microphone.
We're just joking. Tor's the only one who had to do this.
Who had to do that?
I had your mic muted, I promise.
This show
I'm a gentleman.
This show is the Billiards live stream variety show, and we are brought to you by Tor Bjorn Casperson over here.
Hey.
He's the man behind the wires, bringing this stuff to your devices. And joining me tonight is Debbie Wilfringer, again from season 1. Do you remember what episode you were on?
I always just guess 14 because it's my favorite number.
I know, right? It's written on that picture over there, if you can see it, though. Remember you autographed it? You're in the top right-hand side.
Episode 12.
12.
Ooh, that was close.
So if you want, if you want to take a look at YouTube, we are on there, and all of our archived previous episodes, and yeah, those are on there. So we're going to go over some of the same things that we went over then, which is kind of a tease to the billiard community that apparently we are like some slow learners. But we know that because of the COVID crisis, there's a lot of people out there who are doing online streaming and playing pool, and then a lot of people are putting in labor to organize those streamings to tournament matches, and Debbie has been doing that stuff since before Facebook even had a live streaming option. So we're going to talk about that and how you can contribute to your local pool player and a project that's going to be coming out of the gate that's like way ahead of all of the other projects that are out there. It's got a lot of the like nuances that we all consider, like pocket sizes, table sizes, the speed of the players. Those are all handicaps that are already been crunched, and there's like a whole overhead of math that Debbie's done literally years, a decade of working on, and you guys have done a lot of like back behind the scenes work that's done normal Tor and Debbie. A couple days worth of like prepping to show you guys what this is going to look like and what it looks like whenever you hop onto her website, and to be able to try and win some money off of the people around you and the other pool players. I thought we'd do a drill and just practice doing the break shot, because I know that in the BTR, it's really important to have a good break shot, and it's really important not to scratch. That's like the one thing that I remember. So do you want to come out and talk about the break shot?
Hiding in the shadows. Is BTR
I know the crisis rules for a second.
Well, I guess starting out is that you need to have an understanding of the break. Mm-hmm. So what you want to do is learn, if you hit the rack consistently, watch where the balls go. So if you rack in a pattern, you'll be able to identify what's happening and where the balls are going and what you could do to improve your chances. Like in BTRT, you can pattern rack, it's allowed. So if you break the balls and your 1 is here, your 2 is down there, and your 3 ends up down here, then you might want to re-rack and pattern rack in a way that your 1, 2, 3 are closer together, so that you can at least get 3 balls off the table fairly easy. Now you're down to 6 balls. So it's really important to understand how consistent your break is, and if you consistently break and consistently have a different table layout, then and using a tight and right rack or whatever rack you choose, then you'll know that you need to work on your consistency. So that's really important.
What's the pattern that you like to set them up at to remember?
I like the 1, 2, 3.
Got it.
The the 4, 8, 8, 4. Yep. 5, 6, 7.
Got it.
That's for my break.
Okay.
And everybody breaks a little differently, so.
Okay. Well, show us what you got.
Oh, I haven't broke 9 ball. Is this a break stick?
That's mine, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to Eric, our clock doctor, who's not here, participated in the stay at home. He normally flips over the sand timer, which gives us 30 minutes of like casual open swim time, where we're just going to practice some break shots and talk more about BTRT. So it's btrt.org. Is that right?
Yep.
That's a pretty damn good break right there.
Yep,
Yeah.
btrt.org. So what?
Okay, let's stop and look at them, right?
Okay.
Because you had the pattern that we had. And this is like pretty great break. Tough little cut on the 3 there.
3,
but
just come off the rail, put my 5 in the corner, follow it up, or come across for the 6. Leave myself an angle to come back for the 7. You don't want to get past here because you want to get down for the 8, so you don't want to go too far, right?
off cushion to come back.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And so that's how that would go. But let's re-rack them the way we had them before in the pattern that you like, and then take a look at another one, and that way we can evaluate like the difference of those 2 swings. We had the 2 on this side and the 3 on that side and the 4 on this one and the 8 on that one, and then was it this 5, 6?
Yeah, that's the way you did it
Okay.
before. Did you want the 2 and the 3 in the same spot or different spot?
Do the switch.
You switched, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do them the exact same way.
Oh, to see
And
if
then-
my break is consistent?
Yeah. And if it's not, let's see if you could like recognize what was weird about it.
Fred Better says $40 on Debbie.
Tell him that sounds like our pizza order on the line.
Yeah, shout out to
Tell him he's got action. It's pretty different, but it's still a really good
my
looking
one
break.
ball hit short, and it came up this way, whereas before it went in the side pocket.
Right.
The 2 ball kissed off of something else, and the last racket came in it, and it went in
And
the
it went
side. And the 4 ball went in. So
Yeah,
it's
and
pretty similar.
it
The
might
8
have-
ball is down here still,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And the 7 was right here.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
like right here, and the 6 ball was here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is. It's a real similar pattern.
Yeah.
So how long did it take for you to develop that? How many goings? I bet you want to try 3 in a row? See how close it gets?
a
Let me
few
try one.
losses.
Let me try one.
Okay.
So I was saying before we started that I think the underlining theme of this show is like implementing change. You know, we're still like amidst the stay-at-home stuff. You know, we in Washington where we are, our governor eased some of our restrictions, which are really weird and questionable, honestly, like golfing and fishing and stuff like that. But nonetheless, we're like keeping up with that stuff in here, and it appears like as they like continue to ease the restrictions, that there's gonna be like a new world that we go into. Like restaurants won't be back first. I don't think they'll be like maybe they're allow sporting goods, you know, and that kind of stuff. But as we like move forward, some of the trends that people have been doing during this stay-at-home stuff are gonna like still be stuck. You know, we are like as
Right.
human beings, we are creatures of habit, and so like over umbrellaing this whole conversation, knowing that we're trying to be better pool players, which means dismantling our bad habits and reinforcing like better habits in there.
Right.
Because we are creatures of habit, people are gonna these tournaments that people are doing. You know, these online tournaments. I've participated in a couple of them just to kind of check them out. And people are gonna like, I think people like them, but I think that everyone walks away with like a handful of what they didn't like about it. Like, it didn't account for my table size, or it didn't account for my pocket size, or it didn't account for the handicaps were weird, or, you know, there's like a lot of nuances that you've already taken into consideration.
Well, and what we also have to our advantage is we have the infrastructure in the back.
Yeah.
The backfield. So we know what went on, and we can monitor and manage all those, everything, the players and the matches.
One of the things that I like about what your database does is it collects information about how we miss. You know, like what your miss was, whether it was a miss because you overshot the leave or because you scratched or whatever. And
What finished your game?
yeah, and you can keep those statistics and like take advantage of that and as like looking back on
Right.
your work, and then again like learning how to implement corrections onto those things
Right.
so that you can be better
Right,
at
so
it.
let's look at your break, right? Your 2 did this kind of the same as mine. Your 1 came down here, your 8's up higher, and then you have this cluster down here. So what I saw you do, you want me to make a comment about your break?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you came through on your shot, you were aiming low, but when you actually hit the cue ball, you were up high. So you want to keep your stick low and put it into the cloth and keep it down so that you're going to get a different reaction off the balls.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take a chance to like shamelessly plug Clean Slate Pool Tables, because if you scratch your felt driving your cue into the felt, then you can give me a call. But with that in mind, I'm like not even gonna be shy about it and try and take you up on the advice on it.
Well, it just rubs the top. You're not going to...
Right. No, I know that.
I'm not saying dig in and at least stay in the bottom of the cue ball, right?
Yeah. What do you think? I didn't mean to draw. If you remember back to our first time you came on the show, we talked a lot about the in the box and out of the box. Mm-hmm. And whenever I was like going in and out, and you were pointing out because I'm so tall that at one point, and I hear this like in my head a lot of the times because you were like, you said, why are you gonna draw the ball? And I was like, I'm not. I'm gonna stop it. And you were like, well, not at that angle. You're gonna draw the ball. And so I do that. You know, I'm a big guy, and so if I'm not real low, and if I'm not real conscious about how low I am, then I do kind of create like a low angle that I don't intentionally mean to.
Yeah.
Especially at that moment of
when
stroke.
you get done stroking through the ball, stay down and look at your tip.
Okay.
And see what you do. That was better. That was way better.
Okay, so the 2 dropped, the 1 didn't.
This is no good.
Yeah, that's all no good. Okay, let me try it again and see if I can, because
so maybe you went too low in the cue ball, right? Right?
I feel like it did because it came screaming back towards the corner pocket.
Yeah.
And I've done that before, playing, and then you get a break and a solid stroke and it comes racing back and nothing saves it, and that's frustrating. And
something else is everybody wants to hit it like as hard as they can, which we all do because it's the most aggressive part of the game, right? And it's fun.
Right.
And it's hard to want to back off your hit so that you're not hitting it as hard, which you don't need to do.
I'm gonna get lucky. No.
But still, that's a good layout. Everyth's open, except, there's a 2 ball go by the 6.
Yeah, a lot of room there.
Okay, so everything's open. You at least have an opportunity to run out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to know a little bit about how BTRT came about, because I know why everybody is playing online pool right now and live streaming their games and setting their matches. It's because everyone's trapped at home.
Right.
But that wasn't the case 10 years ago when you and I first met and you were trying to convince me to play with you back at Malarkey's.
Well, what I saw and where I had an issue was when I go to league, yeah, it's good in a lot of respects and it has its place. But for players that really want to move to that next level, there's nothing for them. They have all these semi-pro and advanced players that are just kind of stuck out there. They either
talking
have
about
to
leagues?
go. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm talking about leagues, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go to league, now you're there for 4 hours and you play 4 games. And yeah, it puts pressure on you, but how much I could hit 200 balls in 4 hours, probably more than that.
Feel pretty good about this one.
Yeah, that is a good break.
When I stroked it, it came off to the right a little. I like to try and kind of squat it and not move it too much, but it came off to the side a lot, and then I thought it was going to hit the 7 and scratch in there, and it didn't. It kind of came around, and it wound up being all right, but I felt real out of control.
So to get that hop when you hit the break, are you hitting down on the cue ball a little bit?
I don't think so. I don't think I'm necessarily trying to hop.
So you don't want it to hit the rack and then hop up like this, like the pros do? That's not what you're trying to do?
When I usually get the ball to hop, it usually leaves the table. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like my concern. And I've spent years hopping the ball when I broke, and there's like a fine line between creating that high energy break and then crossing the line and creating that high liability scratch. Does that make sense?
Try doing this. Just elevate the butt of your stick a little bit.
Okay.
And hit it the same stroke, same speed, and just see if you get a different reaction.
Okay. Okay, so you were trying to deliver something to the league players and players that helped accelerate them and improve their game.
Well, what I was seeing was that players were playing and they were slowly getting better, but it took them a long time to get better because they were always under the gun.
That one's pretty great. Yeah. I like that one.
Did you elevate the butt of your stick a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a little hop in there too.
Yeah, and you got a little
like
more
I said,
action.
I don't want it to go too.
Yeah, but see, your 1, 2, 3 is all right here,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, this was all really good.
Yeah,
and even
you
this
got a
is
shot
all,
on your one ball?
This is all pretty good too.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so the pull playing with players, the helping them improve their game, and then
Well, what this does is it isolates your game. So it's all about you. It's not about, like, you hear players say, oh, I lost, or oh, I won. Okay, so what did you do to win? Oh, I just played good. Well, what do you mean you played good? Is it different than last night? Oh, yeah, I was just on fire tonight. Well, they don't identify with what made them on fire and what didn't make them on fire. And when you start breaking your game down and you make it all about you, you start going, oh, what was I doing yesterday? And you have that time and that opportunity to reflect and say, oh, it just felt different yesterday. And then you start breaking it down and say, what felt different? How did it feel different? What was I doing?
it was the speed, it was your backstroke.
Was it your head? Was it your mindset? Did you have stuff on your brain yesterday?
Right.
But even if you can identify those things going into your match, the next time you have things on your mind, then you can say, oh, I got a lot going on, so don't expect too much and don't be frustrated, right? Just do the best you can do. So
Well, it might even equip you to have a little bit more strategic approach to the table, and, like, you know, I'm just going to kind of like play safeties and wait for opportunities that are easy enough, and, you know, not.
If you know you might be a little bit off that night, then you adjust.
Yeah, so that's helpful. All right, I'm going to try something different.
Okay.
I'm gonna change the cue ball here. You can see where we're all worn out in the spots. We're gonna go with pink felt soon.
We're gonna go what?
With pink felt.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, and this table's not gonna be the table for the show anymore either.
Yeah, you're going with the regular 9-foot, right?
No, we can't fit a 9-foot in here, unfortunately.
Oh, so it's an anniversary 8-foot?
Yeah, it's a 8-foot.
Oh, nice. I don't like that.
Yeah, it's the same size as this one, a Pro 8.
I don't like that break.
I don't like that one either. It looks real bad. I put too much forward on it, though. There's something about where I was.
So
on the
you put
table
too much forward on it, or you did what?
I put too much forward on it.
So what does that mean?
As far as, like, repair and, like, implementing a
If you
positive
put too
change
much
towards
forward
that.
on it, what did you do that put too much forward on it?
I stroked the. I think I simultaneously missed my target point from where my Q-tip was going to hit the cue ball.
So you hit it too high or too low?
Yeah, I hit it too high.
Okay.
And I think some of that was inaccurate in my backstroke, but some of it was because I was actually standing up also. I'm going to focus on staying down again. That one's not very good either.
So do you like that spot?
No,
Yeah.
no.
In 9-ball, you're going to get more action the further out to the side you go.
Yeah,
than
the pros.
center.
I know
If
the
you're
pros
playing
come way out
8-ball,
here. Let me try that because
If you're playing 8-ball or 10-ball, then you want to move more center.
I know some. And this, if Cassandra was here, big shout out to Cassandra, our pro Shark Attack commentator, who's usually here for the Shark Attacks. She's like forever been encouraging me to rest my cue on the rail and break from like this spot.
That's where I break from.
You know,
Now you might want to break. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
So most right-handed players break from that side. I break from that side, but most right-handers break from the other side.
You think that's because of like how you bridge onto the table there?
I think it's just something I started doing.
Feels real awkward for me.
Oh, then try on this side.
Well, I'm just saying, just this stroke in general does.
Your cue ball might be too close to the rail there.
Yeah. You think, right? I mean, that's where David.
You want to be about like.
Because you can see his little.
Yeah, you want to be about right there.
Okay.
Oh, that was a slug. My bad.
A slug. Okay, so earlier you were coming in and you were talking about working on new strokes, new parts of your pool game, and the habits of putting in the time on the practice table and then turning around to a moment where you want to try and like play competitively, and then the inner dialogue that we as players tend to have, where you think that you're not going to do the things that you've been practicing because they're experimental, and the accuracy and the consistency that you're looking for is not there. So you're going to turn back from your intentions and go with your old ways and hope that that's going to get you through playing, right? And we were just giggling about how like that's really ridiculous inner dialogue that we have with ourselves.
Right.
The fortitude that we know brings success is to turn your back from the old systems and just move forward.
Right, and you have to commit to it. If you make a change, you have to 100% commit to it and stick with it until you decide, you know what, this isn't working for me. If you go out and you use it only sometimes, and sometimes you don't, eventually you're going to revert back to what you've already decided doesn't work for you, or else you wouldn't have made changes in the first place. So, right? So eventually you'll slowly revert back.
Yes. Again, we're creatures of habit, and it takes conscious, intentional effort to...
Right. And even though it sucks, it's one step backwards, two steps forward, but you got to do the grind and you got to work through it and figure it out.
Right. I think a lot of that, it takes, to take a second to say, I think a lot of that translates over into the transitions that our society's going through, and like the old and the new world. You know, that the changes that we want to see are, they're things that we can just like turn our focus to and focus on that. And even though they may be like there may be growing pains that we experience through in keeping our eye on the prize in that new future that we're all going to like step out of our homes and our hiding quarantine safeties from, and to like rejoin each other into, that we get through those growing pains, we'll like be on a better track, right?
Right.
Well, on that note, and I'm like not one to spread gossip without cited sources, but Fred Vetters did just call and express some concern that he heard from a friend, the owner of O'Malley's, that some bar games are like not going to be included in like what's considered essential, and that is potentially like pool and darts and skee ball.
You
and
went
a lot of
back
that
to
stuff.
your tip coming up.
Yeah. Hold on.
Following through.
One thing at a time.
Okay.
Let's tell me about what the governor has said in the extensions and the easing that.
Well, the phone call was short, and I was like a little bit clear on the source, but it seemed to be a conversation that was had with an Oregon official, and Inslee was, I believe, what was Fred describing to me.
So we're talking about our 2 liters of Cascadia, the multi-state that we in California have formulated in a coalition
and British Columbia, we're taking them too, if they'll have us. But just that, due to the nature of having to be within 6 feet of your opponent in like a darts game or in a pool game or in skee ball, and like the hands-on issue of it, and that it's like would not be easy to like cleanse that game or cleanse that area or whatever with Lysol or like whatever the disinfectant, that's considered some potentially like harmful activity.
Yeah. No, I that doesn't really surprise me at all, really, because I know that they are easing the restaurants are starting to open back up for like small hours, you know, if the people are choosing to.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just makes sense to try and isolate the areas of the public communities, spots, what we call the commons, you know.
Well, the greater concern for that Fred expressed is that there's like an underlying meaning, if that's what happens, that like a lot of the pool tables will have to get sold from the places.
Wow. Yeah, wow. That seems wild to make it like a permanent broad stroke decision.
Sure. Well, at least for those that rent their pool tables, it's easy for those tables to disappear, and I think that's probably the concern that's coming soonest.
Wow, there's couple outfits here. You know, the ins and outs of the billiard industry in our like Pacific Northwest is a pretty tight knit community. Big shout out to Rich Geiler and Golden West Games and Corner Pocket Billiards and Larry and the Qs and Jesse and the Qs. It's like small little group of laborers that are out there pushing our pool community. And in that, kind of they're not necessarily celebrated because they don't really take the time and energy to cater to the tables in the quality level that pool players would love to see. You know, these bar owners, when we say like bar owners don't take care of their tables, a big broad stroke statement, because a lot of the times these tables are not owned by the bar owners. They're owned by people who rent the table, who rent those out. They also own the jukebox, and they also own the buck hunt and the zombie killing games and Area 51 games and, you know, that type of stuff. And their concern is like collecting quarters. Their business model is vending. Their business model is not taking care of the cries of the pool community in the area. And so there's like a small overlap there where I wish that I could get in with some of those companies to help bring that quality up, but it's just not there because it's not in their business model. They don't have to, you know, they don't want to pay the cost for that.
Sure. Well, what this all makes me think of is that it's going to be the rise of the people with access to a pool table at home and enter internet pool.
Yep.
And what BTR's been doing for a long time, I think, is like going to become the norm. Like, let's
big shout out to Debbie because you know, we've all been saying stuff like "be the change you want to see in the world," you know, and like I said, you've been doing this for literally a decade. It's pretty cool, you know, and not that there's anything to smile about in the COVID crisis, but if there's ever to see a silver lining, it's to see that people actually are open to the idea of mounting a camera on the wall and putting it above their pool table and playing with an interface on the internet that is much like an application that would keep track of all of the information for all the players and then send you a check if you win to your house, which thanks, I've gotten a check for playing BTRT. So it's kind of cool. It's like such a small amount of money to enter in and to get involved to play with that by the time you play and you do the, you know, it is a little bit of a grind to get logged in and to get the information in. But I totally appreciate all the labor and work that goes into like why that has to be necessary for security purposes, for accuracy purposes, for handicapping purposes. This is like all the things that everybody who's out there playing a lot of like streaming tournament style games right now, when they walk away with like, yeah, that was pretty cool, but it had this thing wrong with it. And then this guy has over here and playing this other one says, oh, and I was playing this one, but it had this other thing wrong with it. You've like accounted for all those little things and created a platform for everybody. Super awesome. And I'm like real excited to be able to present it to the people who are like stuck at home and been watching our show and tuning in. Big thanks to everybody who's tuning in and the chat rooms and stuff. We're going to be going over more of the BTRT in like a pretty detailed way with Tor explaining the actual interface of the website. And if there's any questions and stuff like that, bear with us because it is just us three in the studio tonight. And there's no Cassandra and no Eric, and those are big roles here. So we'll try and like get all the information, all the questions cleared for you guys.
And we're running a Sharky Waters special too for anybody who wants to get involved. And instead of $35 annual membership fee, Sharky Waters has a promo going, and it's $2 for a year. So you guys might want to stick around and get that promo code if you're interested in checking it out and trying it. And aren't you also going to be using this format for your end of the session?
I believe we are. I think that this is going to be like our final stamp on the like final nail in the coffin on that. It was like figuring out the efficiency and getting Tor up to speed on all of that stuff. That it seems like this is going to be a real reasonable option. So everybody who's been looking forward to us doing the tournament, this is what we've been talking about. It's a format where it's similar to Racing the Ghost, but it's calculated in a different way, pre-calculated for you so that the scores are managed.
But there's no handicap in it, right?
What's that?
There's no, you guys won't be using a handicap. You'll just be playing heads up.
I don't know. Can you handicap it?
Well, not unless they have 6 matches in.
Right.
So if everybody wanted to try and get 6 matches in, yeah, we could handicap it.
Well, we have 4 weeks to be able to get it all together. So that's a really reasonable ask if we'll see.
And we can figure out something.
We'll see how many people we can get interested this evening and get people signing up. And
okay.
Well, for anyone who wants to really take this tournament serious, the Sharky Waters season finale tournament, like I would say 6 matches practice minimum. We've got some talented pool players and some really dedicated people that have pool tables and cameras and a lot of spare time at home. So I'm thinking 6. Like I'm ready to get my 6 games in before the tournament. I think all the staff, Eric and Cassandra from home as well, plan on participating in this. And do we want to like take a look at the website and like show people how to register and stuff and get ready for that real quick?
Yeah, you guys do that, and I'm gonna bang some balls over here.
Awesome. So here's the, we've got the iPad screen pulled up here. You might be looking at this on your desktop computer, but you can see a couple yellow buttons on the right side, and I think you're going to want to click register new member first. Is that right, Debbie?
Yeah.
All right, and then what happens from here?
Okay, and these are the options that you have. You can do a 30-day free trial, but the 30-day free trial doesn't allow you to play in tournaments for money, for cash. It just allows you access to the scoreboard that you can check it out and try it for 30 days for free. The $35 annual membership one is the one that you will need if you want to play in the tournaments and try and win money. And right now, Sharky Waters is running, we got a promo running for Sharky Waters, so you want to give them the promo?
Yeah, so we'll pull it up on the screen in just a second, but you're going to want to put Sharky1, all lowercase, is the promo code, and that drops that $35 membership down to like $2 or something, right? Yeah, how cool is that? Make sure you're going to need to put a referral ID in as well.
You said $2?
$2.
Did you guys just say $2?
Yeah.
We did.
Oh, that's great.
That's just for your
Thanks, Aaron. Yeah,
for
no,
your
I got
loyal
it, I got
guys
it.
out there.
So let's scroll down here and click on that button, on that Join Now button.
In my defense, a lot of what's happening back there, you guys, and what you're seeing on your screen has been happening for days, and I've just been doing what I'm doing now, is like kind of playing balls in the background. So
Having deliberate practice though is good. So keep up the good work.
yeah, Carrie,
So-
sorry to interrupt.
You're all good, Dom. Yeah, you can't afford not to do this promo code right now if you're trying to compete in pool, really. So I think we're gonna just like press pause here and actually like log in to an account, because obviously you'll be able to input your own information from home and sign up, and just make sure that you've got that promo code Sharky1 and your referral ID 6771, and that'll bring that $35 membership down to $2 for a whole year.
And I just want to reiterate what Dom had said earlier about the information that we collect. We need this information, and we need your address, because that's where you're going to receive your check if you get the money, so you can get paid. And because we deal with money, there's certain things that we need. We need to be able to contact you, so we need a valid phone number.
Yeah.
We need an email address in case we have any issues or something comes up. We need to be able to reach out and get a hold of you. So there's this page, and then the next page. And we also have team captains that you guys can be on a Pro-Am team if you want. That costs you nothing. If you find team captain Alex Pangolian, Francisco Bustamante, Kelly Fisher.
All right, so we've got the promo code. They're looking at the table here, so Debbie, now's your chance to log in so no one can see your login info. So after you create your account and put in the promo code, you get that awesome deal and the referral ID. Debbie's just logging in here as you're watching Dom. Ooh, narrowly miss a sweet jump shot. So we're going to be running our end of the season tournament this way, and the thing that's going to be really cool about this, and you'll see when we're going to kind of throw an audible on the Shark Attack tonight too, I believe. Is that right, Don?
Yep.
We're going to be just running you guys through what this tournament is going to look like.
Yeah, me and her are gonna do one, and then we have a little side bet on the side of it for the break pot money. And then I'm gonna jump in and start practicing, because I'm already logged in as a BTRT member.
Yep.
I'm gonna log in, so I already have my 6 games in and all of that stuff. I'm gonna just be in there practicing from like now until the next time, and encouraging all the Sharky Waters fans and people that I encounter, like in my own work through pool tables and stuff, to be doing it right now.
Yeah. So what I was saying, that the thing that makes it awesome that we're partnering with Behind the Rock Pool Tournament for our pool tournament, and a question that just popped up in the chat from Joseph, is like the Fargo system coming into play, and the and the handicaps and stuff. We want this to be accessible to like all players to have a fair chance in
Fargo
this tournament.
doesn't have anything to do. We don't use Fargo in any way.
Okay, it does ask you for your Fargo when you
It
create
does.
an account,
That's
right?
just for us to get an idea of what your skill level is, but
Gotcha.
it's not actually part of the handicapping that we use.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that. Okay, so I'm going to switch back over here to the screen, and when you're logged in, here's what you're going to be looking at.
So once you're a member and you're logged in, members only have access to certain pages, or members have access to every page. If you're not a member, then you don't have access to see what tournaments are running or what tournaments have run, what the players' scores were, or the results of any tournaments. So now that we're logged in, we can see that we have 2 events running right now. We're going to go to the one that says Join MT, which is a mini tournament, and it's the Sharky Waters dive. If you look over to the right, it gives a description. So we're going to click on that button.
Awesome.
And then if you've never played before, it gives some guidelines of streaming. I'm not sure if these are up to date, so you can stream with any device you want to. You can use an iPad, a laptop with a camera, your cell phone. You can use whatever device you want.
Awesome.
Okay, so now this is event 664, so you have to pick a location, and we already registered Sharky Waters. So we're gonna go down to Sharky Waters. And you have to have a location in there in order to move forward. We're going to select 198, and that's 9-ball, because that's what you guys are going to be playing for the end of the session tournament.
Just to clarify, sorry to cut you off here, about the location. So when people are setting up, if they're playing from home, they'll want to create a location.
Yeah, so what you're going to want to do is click on the Add New Location right here to the right, and you're going to want to name your pool room at home, the city, the state, and then if you have one table or whatever, and just hit Create Location, and then it'll be in the database next time you register, and it would be just like another room.
Cool. I mean, I think that's like a point of pride, having a location on BTR. It's like a legitimate. Sharky Waters exists now in the system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And quick shout out in the chat room to Dick Hines. We are located in tropical Tacoma, Washington.
Okay, so the reason why we call 9-ball 198, because in a typical weekly match, we'd be playing 11 games against the Ghost. For the mini tournament, you're only going to be playing 8 games. But if you were to break and run all 11 games, the total score would be 198 points. So that's what we consider to be a perfect 11-game match, would be 198 points.
Has anyone ever gotten 198?
Actually, they have.
Who was it?
David, and I can't say his last name. Dave, he owns Golden Fleece up in Seattle.
Wow, shout out to Dave.
Yeah, and the only other person that came close was Jeffrey DeLuna.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
So in a regular BTR match, it is 11 racks.
Correct.
And for the mini tournament that we're going to be hosting on the season finale, we're going to be doing 8.
8.
And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. And so that'll give
Correct.
roughly and everybody an idea of how long it'll take for them to be involved in
Right.
that.
Okay, so you need to pick your format. It's singles, and then you're going to pick your division, and it's open to all scratch because of the way that this tournament is set up, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you're just going to pay for the match. You want to turn my screen off?
Yeah, we're watching Dom bang some balls while you type in your credit card info. I can see it. I'm writing it down, but nobody at home will be able to see it. This is cool. I'm so excited that our tournament is panning out this way. Like, ooh, sneaky 7-ball almost there. Because our whole deal is like always been within the pool community, and especially the Sharky Waters community, is like we totally enjoy the personal company of our close friends and peers, and we want to play those games. And it's been such a bummer to not be able to have that competition and that camaraderie with our buddies that comes with the pool halls and the bars that have pool tables and stuff. Mm-hmm. And like this is just feeling like the next best thing. And it just makes me really glad that we'll be able to compete against those people and get to have those connections again through this tournament and through Behind the Rock. Yeah.
I think that there's some bridging of like halfway on that camp, and then from the Sharky Waters camp to the other way, to the audience, in ways that we started Sharky Waters, you and I, with the intention of bridging pool players together who enjoyed the camaraderie of competition of the pool playing, and we did a really good job in that. So much so that we've like become what feels like close friends with people that we've never met in different cities that we've never been in. And this is going to give us an opportunity to cut our teeth on some pool together and, kind of grind out some games and get better together, which is cool. I'm excited about doing that. I'm excited about comparing my numbers to some of our big fans that are out there, Jasmine and Rachel and Casey and Therese, those guys, Stacy and Christine. There's a lot of people out there that it's going to be really nice to kind of put some comparison out there.
And I can think too, when we eventually go out to Denver or New York and get to kick it with those people after quarantine is over, we've been talking with them in the DMs and stuff. It's gonna feel like e-dating. You know what I mean? We've been playing e-pooling. We've been playing pool online for a while.
Yeah.
All right, Debbie, are we ready to switch back over to the iPad
yeah,
screen?
you can.
Okay.
Do you have a second camera you can plug in so that this recognizes, so it thinks that it's streaming?
I think we're gonna do it off of Dom's phone.
Okay. So you need to log into his phone.
And just to answer, we got a couple people asking in the chat room. We're going to go over the point system here shortly, and we will be in the Shark Attack of the show, running through that point system and probably switching back and forth between the iPad screen a little bit and showing you guys what it will look like to
Keep score.
Keep score. Thanks, Dom.
Yeah, while we're on the downtime too, I just want to come back around to the new world talk of what things we're going to keep, because I think it is enjoyable. I've had a really good time. I've met a couple people I suspect are going to at least tune in for a minute. There's a guy named Randy Dillinger. Dininger. He's been winning a bunch of those little online tournaments at his house on a Valley pool table that he's got, with some Ridgeback rubber diamond-shaped cushions kind of style. Is the battery going to die on that?
Probably.
Do you need a battery charger?
If you have one for an Android.
I think I do. Let me see. Because you can also put it way up here.
Okay.
Totally do on that, on top of that box. It's a real shorty, but
This
that
one?
cable, that power cable there is extended.
Yeah.
Should reach. All right. Well, actually, on that note, as we're fumbling some phones and cameras around, getting ready to get this thing
Let
rocking.
me explain how they do. You guys will need two devices. So whatever device you're going to score on and have the scoreboard open, that is a device that you want to pay for your match. And then your streaming device will be separate. So let's say you want to use your cell phone to stream your match, and then you want to use a laptop to score on. So you would want to log into the website on your laptop. And then what will happen is you'll get this. Do you have this up here? Once you pay for your match, the scoreboard will open, and you're going to get this dialog box that says pending match live streaming. So then what you're going to do at that time is go over and log into your second device. If it's your cell phone, use your cell phone. And then once you've logged in, it recognizes that you are trying to play a match, and this same dialog box will pop up. And then you just hit start live streaming, and then you're good to go.
Sweet. Well, we're
thought we
getting
had
all
one,
that
but
stuff
we
set
don't.
up on our devices now, because we're actually going to be live streaming this
Well, it's okay.
from
Put
the
it there, then.
BTR app.
What?
Do you just want to put
So
it there?
on that note, we
No, that's
are
fine.
going to just
Okay.
give you
Doesn't matter
some
where it's at.
jams real quick in the background. We're going to take a short break. We're going to get all our phones up and running. And when we return, it's going to be the Shark Attack live on Behind the Rock. All that and more when we return on Sharky Waters, The Night Dive.
If you beat me, then I'm donating $50 to the end of the session. Is that right?
To the tournament.
Yeah.
As our two players figure out what their bet is,
You're $10.
I will welcome you back to Sharky Waters. I, of course, am your co-host and producer, Torbjorn. We are live in the Shark Attack. We're
Fred is still watching. I will take him on that bet, and if I win that $40 beating Debbie, I will also add that into the season finale tournament pot. So that's $90 going into the tournament pot that went on me.
figuring out some kicker tournament pot bet situation here. Dom has agreed to, I believe what it comes down to is if he wins this bet, he will match the bet and put that in the pot. Maybe like slightly off, but that feels like the most simple way to explain it quickly. Our season finale tournament, if Dom wins, is going to have $90 in there.
Okay, so you walk us through what we're doing here, and then I'm going to kind of back out of the hosting position for a bit and let you guys kind of drive the boat for here.
Yeah, so Debbie, we're playing behind the rock. Walk us through it.
Okay, so it's a point per ball unless you break and run. So we're not going to go over the break and runs.
Unless someone does it.
Until we do it, and
got you.
then we'll go over it then. But for right now, it's just a point per ball. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm going to break, take ball in hand, and then run as many balls as I can after I take ball in hand.
Got it.
I will mark what I made on the break. It will get counted as a statistic, and then I will take ball in hand, and those will be my run balls. So it's called the break and the run.
Okay.
Okay, and then when I get done, whatever finished my game, if I scratched or fouled or missed, then I will mark that stat at the end of my game, and we use the statistics for tiebreakers.
Tor will do those things in our particular case.
Well,
Yeah.
mine's right there, so you might have to do it.
Right. You're
Yeah.
operating on your phone. Tor
Right.
is operating my end on the stream so
Right.
that the audience can
Right.
see.
Now, no shark in
Now,
me.
then let me ask you before
Okay.
you play.
Okay.
What kind of tip is that, Tor? Did you get an eye on that thing?
That is wild.
This is a bullet,
Okay.
and it's a glass tip.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of cool because it's hard, but yet it has some give to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more accurate than like a phenolic tip or something if you like breaking with a hard tip.
Who put that on there for you?
The Larister.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Larry Francisco.
Yeah, big guy doing a lot of cues around here. I think I'm going to have him do a little refinish on here. He told me not to worry about it, but like if something's in your mind, it's in your mind. I'm like, can't you just make it go away? But
Okay, ready?
all right, go ahead. All right, I'll be your rack man.
Alrighty.
I'll take your rack off here. Now I've got the red one here. I'm going to give you the green one next.
Okay.
Just so you know. And then these are from you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If anybody wants one, they can get them.
You sell them.
Do you sell them?
You can sell them.
I sell them
Sure.
for $55 a pop.
$8.
For $9. No, at $8 for me. Heck, I'll give one of those to the person who found the shark, whoever that was. Let's give a shout out to them. I'm gonna mail you guys one. We just need you to put your information into the Sharky Waters Messenger.
Yeah, that I'm scrolling up to remind myself of who that was that found the shark. And someone commented.
Off to a good start.
Drop your name again. Who found the
Okay,
shark?
so
Or
now
no,
I'm going to
Excuse
go
me.
to my scoreboard. Actually, I should have marked what I made on the break after I broke. And I'm going to mark one ball on the break, and then I'm going to mark one ball on the run.
And then,
Okay, now you wrap.
And now it's my turn. And so this is Dom playing BTRT with Debbie Wellfinger, the founder of it. Such a cool thing that you came up with. 10 years ago, Debbie, when you and I met, I was out of my damn mind. And so I just never even knew what you had going on. And you would talk to me, and I don't know if you knew that I was out of my damn mind, but I always assumed that you did. And it just kind of went in one ear and out the other. And I wasn't being conscious enough of my surroundings and my interactions with people and my awareness to opportunities that were in front of me at the time. And so I think it's a real treat that you would give me such an opportunity to play with you in front of everybody,
Well, thanks for giving me the opportunity to be here.
Yeah.
Appreciate
it's a
it.
pleasure. It's always cool having you around.
The dude that found the rack was Dana. And so shout out to Dana. Debbie, so your score?
Ooh, you don't want that to happen, right?
One and one. So you scratched?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to switch over to this screen? Okay, so he scratched, so all you do is click on scratch on the break, and you hit next, and then it's going to explain to you everything that you made on the break gets spotted, and then you just continue, and you take ball in hand.
Okay, so I made the 8 ball. That gets put on the spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all of them. And then I get ball in hand.
Correct.
Got it.
Can
Close that.
can we send Jazzman a rack?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Pretty sure we have his address already.
Yeah, he found a shark a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, he's just like our dude, man. Always supporting.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, I think Casey's getting one too, for that matter. That's a tough position there. Are jumps allowed in BTRT?
Yeah?
Well, thank goodness I was practicing jumps while you guys were doing all the filling out. I can't remember where I put the jump cue, though, but here it is.
So what happens is Dominic had a scratch on the break, and he made 1 on the run, so we're going to just put this in, 1 on the run, hit next. And so it's a -1 point when you scratch on the break, and that was a position error. And he hit next. So now if you scroll down on his score, it's going to show you that he got 0 points because you made 2 on the run, didn't you? Did you make 2 on the run? The 1 and the 2, you're shooting at the 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is go back. Do you see my back button? I don't think that'll do it. Okay, this might barf, but I'm gonna try it. Okay, so we know that we owe Dom a ball. So everybody's responsible for their own rack.
Oh, you are?
Yep.
Yeah, well,
See, you got a gap right there, so then I would have to blame my bad game on you.
what's I think what's interesting about our like unforced error on the scorecard there is like there's no mulligans on the score. That's the lesson learned from that there. If you
Yeah.
made 2 and you accidentally put 1 in, that's on you.
Yeah.
Sorry to mess up your score, Dom. I totally owe you one, buddy.
No, that's all right. Sorry for the gang rooting on me. I know we got a lot of pressure here on the shoulders, but
I'll tell you what, man. If you
Get it together.
if you scratch with ball in hand, I'll do your push-ups for you. How about that?
Yeah, that's a deal.
All right.
Okay, so after the break, I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna mark my score right away so I don't get confused and get to the end of my game. Oh, and I don't think you've had a verification code come up, have you? On the scoreboard?
I have not.
Can you read this number for me? I don't have my glasses.
00791.
So once you start your match, you're going to get a verification code at some time during your match that you have to put in so that we know that you are an actual live person playing the match and not a recorded video. And it helps keep everybody honest.
Cool. Two-factor authentication. I like it. It's very future.
Very future.
It's all ball foul rules too, so don't touch or move anything on the table. Even when you take the rack off, if you move a ball, it's game over and re-rack. Okay. And I almost did a boo-boo there. I almost picked up the 9 ball.
Are we allowed to commentate like normal shark attacks? And got her. All right, now this is my turn with the green rack.
All right, so you're marking your score on your device, Debbie.
I made 1 on the run, so I have a total of 3 points in that game. And a miss.
Green is my favorite color, so this should be a good rack. I feel like that's a good segue that I told my son that if he was watching tonight, I would say hi. So hi, Clyde, if you're watching.
Oh, nice. Yeah, hi, Clyde, and happy belated birthday. The big 05, as they say.
Yeah, totally. It's a big one when you're 05.
Yeah. Debbie, remind me, I'm not as close to your device. Remind me what your score is. I want to put that up on the on the screen for everybody watching.
I have a total of 5.
5 points. Awesome.
Okay, so there's my second break. Tor, did you get that? I made 1 ball.
Yeah, 1 ball on the break. Gotcha. So switching over to the screen here, hitting 1 ball on the break, hitting confirm. Behind the rock is taking care of all the magic for us, and now we're doing the run. With a little support from Debbie. Thanks for doing some button pushing there for me, Debbie. Good try on that 3.
Thanks.
1 on the break, 2 on the run, I believe.
Yep.
So we're switching back over, and you're seeing a pop up on our screen every now and again, and that's something that's unique to us. We're having an issue with the
Miss. He made 2.
Yeah.
So here's a back button right here.
Gotcha. Excellent.
If you move to the next game, and this will change when we relaunch the new website. So this,
okay, there you go. You can.
As long as you're
double
still in the
back.
same game, you can go back and edit. But once you move to the next game, it doesn't allow it right now.
Okay, cool. So that's your grace period there, and then miss onto the next.
Third frame for you.
Sorry?
Looking down here.
Third rack for you.
Game
Yes, it
total,
is.
running total
Oh, sorry, I did it
is
for you again.
3.
That's okay.
You know, I'm so used to shark attack.
So there you go
format.
with Dom's score. We'll update that to reflect it on the Sharky Waters graphic as well. And then now Debbie's back up to break.
Pretty good break there.
So, for those of you that are just tuning in, you're watching Sharky Waters, The Shark Attack, and we are explaining
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
how
7,
our
8.
end of the season tournament is going to be running, and we are doing that through the platform that is Behind the Rock Pool Tournament. If you head over to behindtherock.org and sign up for a new account with promo code, Sharky1 and referral ID 6771, you'll be able to sign up for a year subscription with a huge discount. Instead of $35, you will be paying $2 for a whole year. And this is an online internet pool tournament, some live streaming camera stuff and scorekeeping involved on your end. And you can play in tournaments remotely and win money.
Real U.S. dollars.
Yeah. Check in the mail. In the literal sense, not in the proverbial one where people are dodging paying you. You're going to be making some cash on this game.
Yeah, I've gotten a couple of them. It's a real treat. To remind people about, once they pay their $2 for the annual subscription with the Sharky Waters promo, that they can get in 6 matches and be qualified for the tournament.
And they can win money. You guys will be playing for money. If you play in the regular tournament with, well, you have to play in the regular tournament. It's a $10 entry fee, and it pays weekly. So it closes at Sunday night at midnight, and then we mail checks out directly to the players, and that's why I'm saying you need your address to be correct in your profile. So we mail checks out Tuesday morning to all the players.
Gotcha. So, Debbie, you were at 5 and 1 on the break and 2 on the run puts you...
2 on the break and 1 on the run.
2 on the break and 1 on the run, puts you at a total of 8. Is that correct?
It's sad but true.
All right. Hey, I'm new to this. I appreciate. I mean, and for the lay people out here that are also learning this, going back over the basics is great. Thanks for all the clarification. And not to shark anybody here, but shout out Kelly Walton in the chat room.
Oh, that might be Clyde too. Hi, Clyde, if that's you.
How many points does Dominic have?
Going over that now, it looks like on the break we had 1 fault, the 4 ball.
Correct.
Yeah, 1.
Thanks for marking that on the screen.
You're welcome.
Debbie.
It's a dog race.
Well, disappointment on that one. If Clyde's watching, that was a real
Running out of
disappointment.
juice?
But I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm just going to hold my head up and breathe and wait for my next turn, and I'm going to do better on my next turn. Make a little corrections there.
Pushing in some buttons, entering those results, marking what was the reason for the end of that run.
And what that'll do is help keep the statistics on your own performance so that you can go back and look at that information and find parts of your foundation that need improving and parts of your game that you can isolate and put your drills to.
Yeah. So it looks like we've got a running total of 6 points for Dom, and Debbie's back up to break.
Oh, nice. Keep it. Let's go up there. Sweet.
4-ball goes down on the break for Debbie.
Can really see just with like what we've done, 4 breaks for her and 3 for me, 7 breaks that we've had, how important this developing like a good break shot.
Especially when you only make 1 ball in the run.
Well, yeah. It's all right though. There's a lot of people out there that struggle getting, runs together, and we're not excluding those people.
As someone who definitely likes to train and practice and improve through repetition, the thing that I really like about this game is it really just like grinds your run out game. You like really, it will extend your focus from doing this repeatedly. And I can imagine for people that are playing and will, when quarantine is over, continue to be playing in like big pool tournaments and stuff like that. That's got to be strong. The stamina of continuing to work on that run out game for rack after rack after rack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Debbie does a great job to get that 1 in there and break the 2 out from that kind of cluster up there with the 7.
That was a good shot. I think she's going to get rewarded with points at the end of the day on that one. Really well.
Gets the 3 to go in the side pocket.
Strong inside English to get that shot where it's at now. That's cool. Nice shot, Debbie. Her fundamentals are so good to watch. She's got a nice little extension contraption she's pulling out there. Not everybody was built with the frame that I have, so I don't need a bridge on that.
Does a great job to pocket that 6 in the corner and gets great look at the 7 in the side here.
Great shot.
Playing with fire.
Saved by the fin there.
Okay, so because I made a ball on the break and I ran out, we call that a snap game. So what's going to happen now is next time I'm going to break and I can take ball in hand, and all the points that I make in my next game will be added back to this game that I just played. So the points in the next game will be added twice. In this game here that I just played and for the next game. So my next game, if I broke and ran again, my first break and run would be worth 18 points. My second break and run game would be 9 points plus whatever I make in the next game, if I make a ball in the break.
Nice. Bonus points for running out.
Cool. No, so I'm pretty far behind now than it feels like, right?
Yeah, so your total score now, Debbie, remind us. You had 8, and we're adding 9 to that. Is that correct? For a total of 17, I believe.
So far, yeah.
All right.
Did you make a ball?
I did. I made 2.
2?
Yeah.
Are you on the screen?
Switching over to the BTRT website, putting in what we made on the break, pressing confirm. Double checking a few things here. Looking at where Dom's at on the pool table.
Okay, so does that say game 4?
That is correct. It says game 4.
Is this game 4 or game 3? It is 4.
Debbie, how do caroms and combos work? Is there any of that?
Yeah, you can, anything, we play regular 9-ball rules. So if you accidentally make one, you're good. So if you don't have a shot, get them all moving. Are you off that?
Okay, so I got 2 and then 1 on the run. Not a good performance, but I can turn it around.
And that was a position there.
Yeah, I would have liked to have come a little bit further out on my leave on the ball, but I didn't quite make it there.
All right, so as you can see on the scoreboard now, that puts us at a running total of 9 points for Dom to Debbie's 17.
Whew.
I mean, what do you say we just get every guest who's on the show for the rest of the season using that Sharky Waters code and getting them in the system? Let's just run the rest of our shark attacks on this.
Okay.
What I'm feeling is
I mean, if you're feeling good about the orchestration of your end of it, then that seems like a great idea to me.
It is a lot of buttons to push. I'll admit, I feel like you should keep your own score as you will be in the actual tournament, but I feel like I can run or wear the rest of the hats. I would just like to see a lot more of this. I like this platform a lot. I like the scorekeeping aspect of it. And it's like so similar to the 9-ball that we are normally doing, except just better. And I mean, I feel like that's what everyone's going to experience who's doing their pool live streams is like, especially if you're doing it through Sharky Waters and the Sharky Waters code, like, yo, here's a $2 upgrade to what we're all already doing online. And let's like all do it together.
Yeah. Yeah, because it is a better platform than anything that I've seen out there. Certainly no offense to some of the people that are like putting in the labor to orchestrate some of those things, because honestly, some of that stuff is just crazy to try and orchestrate. I orchestrated a Zoom birthday call with 5-year-olds, and that was about probably as nuts as it must be to run a 16-person tournament with drinking adults.
Oh, yeah. Well, the 2-ball drops for Debbie. She's looking at the 3 now. Gets the 3 in the corner. Great shape on the 5.
Not really.
I suppose it's subjective.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody shits differently, right? And I think in my natural mind, I would have hoped for a little draw to go down in the corner, but I think at this point, the easier angles to go on the side. Hope not to hit the 9. She did good there. Hope not to get in the corner pocket. She's going to do good there. Tough shot.
Yes. Kind of sharked myself.
Yeah, I saw that. There's like two shots in this room that kind of the outside circumstances can catch you. All right, enough of the green one. I'm going for the yellow rack.
Debbie, can you explain to me what would happen in a situation with like a 9-ball on the break?
The 9-ball on the break, it respots, and you just take ball in hand. You get an extra point, and then it's business as usual. You have to run the rack, regardless. Even if you're shooting at the 8-ball and you make the 9-ball in the same shot, the 9-ball will respot, and you have to pocket the 9-ball.
But it's an extra point.
It is an extra point.
And how many extra points can you get?
As many as you want.
So if you're comboing the 9 all the way every shot and resetting it, I mean, I know that's a ridiculous thing to expect, but
You could.
interesting.
The 198 points is what we consider to be a perfect match. You can actually score higher than 198 points because of the extra 9-ball
Nice.
point. Now, 198 is played on the regular weekly tournaments. It's played on 7 and 8-foot tables. If you're playing on a 9-foot table, you'll be playing 10-ball, which is 220.
One ball on the break. Confirm.
Be super careful because it is all ball foul if you touch anything, even with your hair. Right?
And it might sound like a nit rule, but because of the environment and the format and the way that it is, you can't allow any of that because there'll be some people that may take advantage of it. And so it's just done. You can't do it, period.
After all, we live in the age of the scrutiny of an Orwellian era where everyone has to have cameras in their living room. So
There you go.
cautious with what you do.
Okay, so Debbie, your score currently is what?
My score currently should be 17 plus 10. So it should be 27. What happened there, Dom?
I got one on the break. I just missed. It wasn't bad position.
Missed your ball in
really.
hand shot?
No.
How many did you make?
Jeez. I don't know.
One, because
One.
the two's on the table?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if I pulled that out or not, but I think I made one on the break and then made one on the run.
That sounds correct.
What game are we on, Tor?
We're currently on game 6. So Dom, my takeaway from this, and I hate to just to point out that I can like see some frustration of you not doing your best run or whatever, but like the pressure of doing a live stream from pool kind of changes your environment and changes your headspace. Like such is also a thing that needs to be trained with doing some BTRT tournament type stuff that I think comes with a little practice of thinking about the scorecard while in the flow of your game.
Yeah,
and I
for
think
sure.
that's something that's like very new to all of us in the room, obviously, except for Debbie.
And I'll tell you for sure, because I struggle with tournaments, and this is so good for me because it makes me bring everything that I'm practicing. It gives me an opportunity to only focus on me and try and bring it under the pressure, right? So instead of going to a tournament and paying all that money, travel expenses and all that, to show up and just go, oh, all that practice didn't pay off. I didn't get there because I couldn't get my head right. This gives me an opportunity to work on my mindset and bring all my practice time and put it into real play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it really, the words don't necessarily capture the intention when you say it. It's like a very frustrating game. But again, we're talking about implementing change onto your foundation of improvement and what it takes to dismantle bad habits and how you can re-engineer your habits into new habits. And it can be frustrating to just be highlighting a lot of those things. You know, the one error and your turn is done type level to it increases the pressure to it. You know, on a race to 7 like we normally do our shark attacks, there's a little bit of a like, they come.
Yeah,
go
there's no
and-
do-overs.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think for anyone playing this, we were talking about how to get your there was like a 6-game threshold that we were encouraging people to do before our season finale tournament runs around. Like that's another extra important reason that you spend some time with your BTRT website on your device practicing for at least 6, because that headspace does change when you're doing something new like this.
Yeah,
and you
big
got to
time.
account for that.
Big time. It's hard to translate into what that would handicap out onto being, because if you go back and you watch the season 1 episode of Debbie playing, she played pretty good. It's such a relative term of, you know, how good you are, because we have exposure to like excellent, truly excellent, world-renowned level of playing, and so to them, it's like a hot streak on a, you know, sunny afternoon on our best days, and there's some humility and understanding that, and having that be in your bank, and then also be in your imagination for levels that you can possibly achieve as normalcy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Got another big shout out on this same kind of tip to Dana in the chat room, that he was just saying when you're playing the Ghost, you got to just ignore the score. It's all about learning to just trust yourself.
Big time. That's a great call.
Yeah. Thanks, Dana, for dropping that in the comments, man. We couldn't agree more with
Okay,
you.
so you got all that information. Can I pull these balls
I got a
out?
total of 5. 1 and 4.
5
All right.
points for Debbie puts her at 32. if I'm not
And I
mistaken.
am now on rack number
You're on game
Game
6 now, I believe.
6.
I might have said 6 last time, but the
I
app is
shot
telling
first,
me 6.
so-
I see.
I shot first, so this is Dominic's 6th game.
Copy that.
Yeah, definitely. Give me, while the mics are on and while we're in like the Shark Attack format, it gives a little bit of transparency to like the inner dialogue of like the emotional part to it. It's like a little bit of waves of
You
frustration.
feel it. Trust
Yeah.
me, you feel it. Even in your
have to
house by
reset
yourself, you feel the same frustration, the same excitement, the same glory as if you're playing in a tournament.
That's not a good break right there.
Oh, it's a choker.
So that's a dry break. So looking at the screen, we're just going to press 0 there on the break and confirm, and we'll move on to the run.
Nice.
Ends up just a little wide on the 3, and that'll end Dom's run 2 balls. Pressing the number 2, pressing confirm,
Miss.
confirming the reason that the run ended.
What was that? Miss speed, or what are the options there?
It's like
Foul, miss, scratch, position error.
Position error,
Debbie.
scratch,
Foul, miss.
oh miss.
So the position error and miss is kind of left up to the player. My rule of thumb is if you leave yourself a 30% chance or less of pocketing a ball, then I would mark it as a position error. 30% or more, I would mark my score as a miss. So that's kind of left up to the player and their skill level, because they know what everybody has a different shot that they like or dislike too. So an easy shot for me might be a hard shot for you, or vice versa.
Right.
So it's left up to the player to make that determination.
Right. the nature of pool being incredibly subjective.
Right.
And in terms of the difference in how that affects your profile, is there anything worth noting?
It doesn't affect the profile, but we use them for tiebreakers,
Okay,
the stats. And so one would value more than the other,
I see.
or less, whichever the case may be.
Pretty cool, right?
See, this always happens. It seems like the more games you play, like if you start out with a good break, it gets a little more crazy, a little more, because you start trying harder and trying harder, and you lose that finesse from the first game. So it's like right now I'm going, okay, I need to recheck my break the next time I break because it's out of control, right? I didn't even make a ball that time, which is not,
same
that's
on mine.
not norm.
My last rack, I didn't make one either.
Yeah.
I think that there's a little bit to like the rhythm and fatigue of your focus on those tiny variables, and they're kind of exposed by playing this short form, one error, next turn format. If that makes sense. Like she's saying, you start to recognize where the flaws in the individual shot, the individual break.
Cool. I was in the hole.
Tough break there. Try to get the action to get on that ball.
Yeah, I didn't get there
Definitely had
anyway.
some options once you were back there too.
1, so 0 and 1.
Okay, so she's going back to her device over there to keep score on her device. And again, everybody who's like may have just been tuned in towards keeping score for you guys to see there on my score. I'm going to try my best to try and just clean sweep out of here. See if that'll get me somewhere.
And we're in the middle of completely rebuilding the website. So we're going to have new features on it. And typically you can play up to 3 players at a time, but that is not activated right now because of the COVID-19. So you'll be able to play with your friends, like 3 of you get together and you can all score on the same device. And you can all pay separately, or one person can pay for everybody. So all those features are in place. It's just not right now. So something I want to clarify too, if you're trying to figure out if it's a position error or a miss, then you want to evaluate, did you miss that ball? If you want to mark it as a miss, or a position error because you were on the wrong side of your shot and you wanted to be on the other side, so you had to do something more extreme with your cue ball. But that's
Like
not
that.
what that's about. Was that ball pocketable or not pocketable, regardless of the position that you're trying to play off of it. Like in my case there, I was trying to do some severe inside English, which jawed the ball up, but really I missed the ball, even though I could have called it a position error because I was on the wrong side. Does that make sense?
So you
Totally.
you put your own personal perspective into it. You fill out your own score because pool has that weird subjective area of stats that it depends on who is shooting that shot, on whether that was a quote unquote good shot or a bad shot. And if you can stay true to that in your scorekeeping, it will give you a more accurate
Right.
representation of what your game looks like.
Exactly.
Cool.
Thank you, Dom.
And then I just made. Did I? Where are we at? Is it my turn? Is it her
Yeah,
turn?
you, six on the break, and you made the one.
And now I gotta shoot this. I think I missed the 2 already. We don't have a replay.
No,
huh?
you're totally right.
Yeah, I missed the 2.
You're totally right. Thanks
Yeah.
for reminding me.
Yeah, and so this is Debbie's last rack, last game.
And I'm hopeful Dom is going to be paying my $10 break pot money.
I'm getting it out already because I'm feeling like you're in great position. You've been showing a great example of what it takes to put in your BTRT practice hours and get an edge on somebody who doesn't have those practice hours.
Well, we've been closed down for 5 months, so we just reopened the tournaments about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So right now, we're just now regrouping, and the players are just slowly coming back, and so, which is kind of nice because the tournaments are like a smaller group of people. You got
Mm-hmm.
a better chance, not so competitive. So it gives you an opportunity to get warmed up, get used to the scoreboard, and then you have a leg up.
Now,
as more
walk me
players come in.
through, once you get your 6 games, why is that important to the factor of everybody having an opportunity to win a little bit of money it's not necessarily handicapped, but it is like judging.
Right. So during when you're trying to establish your average, so we can determine what your handicap will be, you'll be playing in what we call a scratch division, and that too pays weekly, just like the regular weekly tournament. But you won't be playing with a handicap, so it'll be divided up into 5 divisions. So depending on what game it is. So for 220, 0 to 30 is intermediate division, 30 to 70 is the open division, 70 to 90 is the advanced. So depending on what you shoot, you'll be put into a division, so you'll be shooting with other players with a similar skill set. If
Got
that
it.
makes sense,
Got it.
right?
Got to get those 6 games in.
Yeah, exactly. So you can figure out where you reside in that. It looks like I'm down. What does she call that in the beginners?
Intermediate?
The intermediate? No, I'm not even in the intermediate right now. I've only got 15. You said
Yeah, but you
intermediate
usually play
starts at
11
30.
games. And
Yeah.
it's 0 to 30, so yes.
Oh, that's right. That's right. 'Cause
You would
we're only at
qualify.
8 games. So just to clarify, we are doing
Mini tournament, I believe, right?
yeah, the format that we're doing right now is.
I think
the
Dom's
Sharky
going to be
Waters.
playing another match for this tournament to try and win some of his money back. Okay.
That's the way it goes in Sharky Waters.
It's the way she goes, boys.
And if you guys love playing pool and you love promoting pool, don't forget to hit the like and the share button. You can also check out the subscribe buttons on our YouTube page, and we also have the donation link down there. That's going to help contribute some money. Some of that's going to go into the season finale pot for the winner.
Is this the other spot?
No, there's one right over there by the shark wall, but that one's not super great.
Okay, I'm going for it. Maybe I'll miss it so bad I'll make the 7 ball.
All right. So that brings Debbie to a total
2 more.
of 34.
That's more than my match was last week that I shot playing 11 games.
I just want to confirm before we put it up on the
Rough.
screen. It is
I
34
shot a
though,
26
Debbie.
out of 11 games last
It
week.
is 34. Correct.
34?
Is that? I just want to confirm before I put the number up on the screen.
Okay. So I made 1. And 1.
Debbie's doing the same thing, putting her numbers in on her device. It's pulling up her total now.
Running total.
Running total, your score is 21.
That's what it says.
That seems off. That's lower than what we were counting earlier.
So what we can do is there's a review. Oh, shoot. There's a review button up here. Does that say review? That one. Total of 21, so I got 2. What's that?
3/5. 3/5 is
Ah,
this?
my glasses on, so Tor has to drive.
Okay, 3/8. Game 4 was 5/13.
That was my break and run, my snap game.
Okay.
And the next game, right?
Yep, 5/18. Game 6 says 1/19. 2/21.
And that's game 7?
Yes, it is.
Oh, so I have
You have one more rack?
one more rack.
Okay.
That's where we lost track.
So, but we are on 21 points. So apologies for the miscount there. This is a new thing to us too, and we're going to be doing this on our next couple episodes so that we can get everyone right and tight with how it all works
So,
and comfy with the tournament
What'd
rules.
you do in the break, Dom?
I made one, and then I made one on the run.
Position error, miss, foul, scratch.
Position error.
So, it says that he's done. So that was the 8th game. So he had 17 points.
Gotcha.
So I must have had.
Yeah, a lot going on to with few
might have
people
missed-
to when
yeah.
when it's you at home with one device keeping score. I imagine it's like not as complex as we're making it with all our cameras and
I think I didn't enter a game. That's what happened in my score.
and all of this stuff. Yeah, but
Yeah.
so it looks like our score.
So
in
you
the
would
end-
have probably a couple more points.
Yeah,
one
probably.
small run's
But
worth
it's
of
okay.
points added on to there.
Yeah, it's
Just
okay.
to give an idea of what the over-under would look like between me and Debbie.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
It's close, 21-17.
Plus or minus a couple points of a run that you forgot to add into your
That's
score.
okay.
Yeah,
But that's
so-
why it's important to make sure that you're filling out your scores as you go and, following the instructions to that level.
Yeah, totally. And don't also run a radio show and a live stream simultaneously while trying to keep your own score.
Yeah,
From
totally.
personal experience, I can tell you it's a lot to stay on top of.
That'll probably shave off a few points, but it take it from us if you want to run that experiment on your own, but we can tell it to you for you.
Yeah, totally. So, all right. So let's just talk like quick experience of this. You guys, Dom, do you feel like the scorekeeping was pretty easy? I mean, I know I was pushing a lot of the buttons for you, but it was it wasn't too much to think about, right?
No, like I said, I think that it's worth the extra energy. It's a different change of pace for me from my style of practicing, but I think it's worth the effort to put in the scorekeeping the way it is and answer the questions and fill out the format the way it is so that I can collect that data. And then even if it's not something that you go back and you look at the data on, the fact that it's asking you every
Please.
What?
Can you go be on camera, please, so people can see?
the fact that it's even asking you that stuff is making you conscious and aware of that. You know what I mean? Kind of forcing the issue at hand, whether you're over position playing or under position playing. The fact that it's asking you, was it because you missed because of position? You're like, yeah, it was. Dang, And so I think that that's really good iterations to implement and repetitions to.
Well, I know
Get on
another
your
thing it
mind.
does for me is that it makes deliberate practice. Like I'll go and I'll practice playing the ghost, but oh well, so what, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then when I play in the tournament doing this, it changes it. It's like it makes me try harder, it makes me want to do well,
Mm-hmm.
puts that pressure. And so it's deliberate practice. Well, even though you're doing drills, it's deliberate practice, but now you have to perform with deliberate practice, right?
I think it definitely changes. There's a lot of variables to that. There's a little bit of your money. You got some skin in the game. The hooking up your camera to be able to be live streaming the balls and having the rules of no ball foul and all of that stuff kind of puts the idea. And I know this through my own empirical experience that the more people that are on the camera watching the show, the more intense it can feel in here, and we don't find that out till I don't find that out me personally until after the shark attack and post production when we get to look at the numbers and some of that stuff. You just never know who has a big fan base and who doesn't.
Right.
Sometimes you get people who you expect to have a lot of people watch and they don't, and then you get people who you just don't expect to and then they do, and that, but there's some kind of ways that you can almost feel the pressure building, and and maybe you're just imagining that it's because those numbers are going up and there's more people watching. But there's definitely a changed element of having that in the back of your mind, like literally over your shoulder.
Right.
And being able to play like that. I think it's really good for the game. I think it's really good for the focus. And I know I've been doing this with a camera over my shoulder with Tor in the corner for over a year. You know, you came over a year ago on the show, and it definitely helps me improve my game. I'm looking forward to other people who are out there playing pool and trying to use the old adage of like, you gotta play for action, you know, you gotta gamble, that's how you get better. That the ways that we overcome these two hurdles to improve our game of like needing to put some of your own money into the game and then also needing to put the time and hours into the game with the COVID crisis stuff. These are all like one big solution coming together that you've like already engineered.
Well, and the reward is nice too, being able to, like, if you do have a good performance, right? Then it's nice to be able to get that little bit of cash and a little bit of reward to say, you know what, you did good this week. Keep it up, do better, continue to win. You know, and you can stash up money and use it to go play in a tournament where you got to pay for a hotel and entry fee and travel expenses and make it your little stash, right? So yeah.
Well, I definitely am a big fan of anything that's going to make me more analytically conscious of errors, because we all want to eradicate those errors and improve our game, like not just in pool but like in life. And I think that's my favorite part about what I saw tonight, is like having to, I never think about why I missed a shot, is like what is profound about that to me. And I'm like admittedly like the rookie of the crew, so I may be in the minority of people that don't think about those errors in depth like that. But that's definitely what I'm doing moving forward, and like being able to have this account on Behind the Rock to be able to grab my stats and for me able to be able to look back on that stuff is important, because I know from Fitness World that your documentation of what you're doing with like your athletics or whatever is like extremely important. And like while people may not think of pool as an athletic thing, it like totally is in that same camp. You're using your body in very unique ways, and you just need to document that stuff so you can know what to do better next time. I'm super into that.
And also log in your gains, because that's motivating to keep after it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and also too, in your profile and Behind the Rock, you can set your goals. So say you play and you establish your average and you start at 35. Well, you can go into your profile and say, okay, by this date, I want to have my goals at this. So whenever your brain has a target and you're trying to achieve something, you're going to have more success. You're going to, because your brain wants a target, it wants to achieve, and it wants a goal. And so
human beings do that by nature.
Right.
Nietzsche said that humans are not an end, but a bridge to something.
Right.
You know, that there's like always something out there to be reaching towards.
So if you don't have a definitive goal, then you don't have a definitive target. And your brain says, oh, okay, well, that was pretty good, but oh well, no big deal, right? But if you say, brain, I want you, this is what we're doing, and we're going to do it together. I want to achieve this by this date. Now you have a mission, right?
All right.
Yeah. So now what are we doing?
All of that, I owe $10 to the break pot, which is now up to $350.
Nice. And just a quick reminder, behindtherock.org, promo code Sharky1, and put that referral ID in 6771, and you're going to get a year membership, which is what you'll need to enter in the season finale tournament.
Correct.
To Behind the Rock for a whopping $2 for a whole year. Big thanks to Behind the Rock and Debbie for making that promo code available to us and our fans. We are going to be continuing to run this in future episodes, and I'm seeing in the chat room that we've got a pretty positive response from this platform and what people were seeing tonight. Even with us figuring out some tech stuff, being first-time users, that's something to be expected with anything new that you're doing. And all considering, it's like pretty straightforward and way easier to use than I was anticipating.
Yeah,
so I'm looking forward to implementing this.
I noticed on the chat room thread, and again, everybody, thanks for your engagements and thanks for the likes and the shares and stuff. Someone asked, how long does that promo last?
Till May 20th. Your tournament's on the 21st, right?
May 20th, that's correct.
Actually, if you're going to get your 6 matches in, you better do it ASAP because you've
Totally.
only got 4 weeks to get your matches in that promo code. So even though we'll continue to run that promo, I would think until the 15th of May.
Mm-hmm.
We'll run the promo to the 15th of May, and then we'll shut it down. But you're going to want to do it prior to that to make sure that you get qualified for the end of season tournament with them.
Correct. So you qualify to play in the season finale tournament that we're going to be hosting, and then also you get the the annual subscription for BTRT membership for $2, which is normally $35. So
Big
that's
savings
like the
there.
big win there, is to be able to get in on that opportunity right now. And again, she just extended it to May 15th. But
Yeah.
you'll want to get in your games before the 20th because that's going to get you put in the right divisions of payouts.
And
Well, we're
again,
not
you're
gonna do
looking at that
divisions with you guys,
BTR.
right?
When you're looking at the behindtherock.org website, you're going to go to create account and you're going to look at that BTR membership. Look for that $35
Is
price
this
point.
break and run here?
Yeah.
Scroll down, join
Just
now,
wait until
fill out
Okay.
the info, and you'll have the opportunity to put that promo code in and the referral ID 6771. We're looking forward to seeing you in the tournament.
And while you have your
Now-
wallets out, I have mine out because I've got to put Debbie's $10 into the treasure chest that is inside of the treasure chest for the break pot. And while you have your wallets out and you're doing the BTRT promo and all of that, go ahead and hit our dono page while the card's out.
Yeah, we're really grateful for the donations that we have gotten. That type of stuff is used to keep the internet running and to help us with things like microphones and cameras to make the studio look really nice for you guys. So we're so much appreciative,
You are paid
to those
up.
people.
Good
well,
luck.
Okay.
break pot rules. Get that 9 ball to go. Luck counts, combos, and caroms are all good.
All right. So, am I supposed to be trying to make the 9 in the break? Is that a win?
It's anything. You've been here before. You just play 9 ball and win in one turn. All the things count. A carom, a combo, on the break, a run all the way to the end. Luck. $350 if you can pull it off is going to come out of the treasure chest, inside of the treasure chest, and go into your pocket. This is brought to you guys by Clean Slate Pool Tables. If you have any pool table needs, look, it's going.
Oh,
It's going.
I tried.
oh,
Bumped out of there.
my.
She's got a lot of action here, though. Brought to you by Clean Slate Pool Tables. If any of you guys have any pool table needs during your quarantine and need your pool tables looked at, you can give me a call and I'll let you know what type of progress and what things can be done there. I might be needing an extra job line around here by the looks of this table layout.
It's not looking good for the old Sharky boys. Beautiful look on the 1 ball. Wow.
She's looking real great.
I'm going to run into that 5 ball.
I don't know if her mic's up, but she said she's worried she's going to run into that 5 ball.
Missed it.
Uh-oh. That's looking great.
This could be a first.
Tor's speechless over here, but yeah, it's definitely the first. No one's ever come close.
Right before our eyes, Debbie wins the break pot.
I'm only sad because Tor and I once talked about how we should have like exploding confetti cannons set up the studio for when that happens, that you could be celebrated in proper level. But that's absolutely amazing. Great job.
Well,
I'm so
that's
proud
your
of
job
that.
to take the money out of the treasure chest that is inside of the treasure chest. If you want to do that on the table, people are probably curious about what that looks like.
I'm so stoked that it was Debbie that
too.
won the break pot. I'm so proud of you, Debbie. That's incredible.
Absolutely.
that's awesome.
Big shout out to Eric, our clock doctor, we are definitely going to be needing that second box stained on the inside of that now.
Money.
Absolutely astounding break.
And this
the
is
break
what
practice.
So what I would like to do.
The practice that we put in. I just want to say we practiced the break. We have not done what we have not done is take moments to use our warm-up drill time that we do on the show to practice the break. And knowing that your game is kind of based around the break and having good opportunities to stage a good game.
People don't know, yeah.
I finally thought, well, it's probably a good position, a good timing to do that on the intro and all of that. And you gave like a fine example of some solid breaks. And like clockwork, you left a lot of balls left on the table. You made quick work of that rack. And that was just super textbook. It's really nice to be able to show people the example time and time again that like what you practice and what you focus on and what you put together is like how you manifest success. And great job.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, give it a high five.
But this is what I'd like to do. I'd like to add $200 of this to the end of this session.
Cool. So you hear that here? There's $200 going in, and then I owe $40 for. So here's 10, and then I'll put my 30 more in. So we've got $140 to start off with. On the add-in for the season finale tournament. And then we're going to have some donations going in, I'm sure, from that stuff, from people who contribute in. Everyone who always does contribute in, thank you so much for that stuff. We're going to put it to good use and then spread it down to the people in the pool who are like working on their game.
I'm still just so stoked.
Yeah.
Debbie, you're such a badass.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was so
Debbie
impressive.
Wilfinger with the Clean Slate Pool Tables break pot. Sponsored and annihilated. Absolutely.
Crushed it.
Thanks.
It. Many have come. We've seen James DeVee. We've seen Damian Ponkpanick. We've seen David Lash. We've seen Sean Lewis. The names have gone on for over 55 episodes.
I don't think any of them went, though, hey, can I get the 9 on the break? Okay, got this.
Yeah, sure.
And then just crush it. Oh.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. So keep tuning in. We're going to keep polishing up how to explain out the BTRT format for our mini tournament for our season finale that we want to invite you guys in to play in to collect our money together in the traditional sense of the word of pool. We will pool it all together and we will see who plays the best and we will give that money to that person. And we will celebrate the skills of that person and the work of them practicing their hours.
And I have one more thing to add. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to call me. There's a contact us page, and there's a phone number, and there's an email in there. So if you have any questions or you're not sure about something, just call me. I'll walk you through it, and we'll get it all squared away and get you rolling.
Big time. Big shout out. Big thanks to BTRT.
And don't forget to put in the referral code.
Yeah.
6771.
Yeah, we're going to put it up on the screen as soon as we say farewell.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so before we do the farewell, I just want to do a little bit of the housekeeping and say thanks to the sponsors, Harold Prine with Prine Custom Cues. If you want a custom carbon fiber cue or custom wood, he just released one today. I'm sure it's sold by now. It was absolutely beautiful. But you can check him out at PrineCustomCues.com. Tipsy Tomato, of course. Fred, big shout out to you. I hope that there's a turnaround on some of that decision making, obviously, for as a liaison and a speaker of the pool community. I, definitely object to the ideas of having to remove your pool tables from your establishment under the guise of some authoritative stroke of reach. That just seems like a broad reach. But hang in there, everybody. It's a crazy time right now, and we don't want to forget that. We do want to present an element of entertainment and a way to take your mind off of what's going on out there, even if it's just for an hour and a half or so, and to celebrate what we like to do in the traditional sense of pooling our money together and celebrating an awesome player and an awesome person and a human to come in and win that. I couldn't have wished for a better person to win it either.
And Dom, thanks for everything that you do too.
Yeah,
you and Tor and your whole crew.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks. It's absolutely our pleasure. And thanks to the crew, to the audience and the people out there in the chat rooms and they're hitting the share buttons, hitting the like buttons, hitting the subscribe buttons, talking about it and with their friends. Word of mouth is a big thing. people who are looking for the small shark on the wall and getting their stickers mailed to them, getting their racks mailed to them, those types of things we're like really happy to do, and we couldn't do it without you guys tuning in. So thank you so much. I did Tipsy Tomato, I did Prime Custom Cues, and then of course there's me with Clean Slate Pool Tables. You can look me up on the websites, on Facebook, and then if you guys have any questions about pool table maintenance or repairs or refurbishings, I'd be happy to help you out guys with that stuff. So
I would just throw on the back of the shout out to Clean Slate Pool Tables. Anyone in like the greater Seattle area who just got their government check, and if you're looking for a pool table option, we would love to have you in this tournament. And don't let not owning a pool table or thinking that you can't afford a pool table keep you out of the conversation, because I know that Dom has found tables that are suitable and affordable for like just about anyone.
Yeah, and there's even some options out there. I've got one. I'm gonna go ahead and take a minute to like plug some side projects that Tor and I are cooking.
Yeah.
Some like backyard get-togethers as the restrictions are eased. We're gonna be putting together some like live. I say we, but it's really Tor and his camp of people. But they're gonna be putting together some stuff that looks like. Having some backdoor events where maybe there'll be a pool table in there, and I'm gonna go install a pool table and let people play them outside. So there's like one in the inventory that like there's even room like if 3 or 4 people pull together and you guys want to play in the tournament and you're in the local area and you have somewhere to play but you don't have a pool table. If you guys want to pull together some money, there's like a renting option. You guys could maybe rent one, bang out your BTRT 6 matches, get qualified, then sign up for the tournament, and then be involved in the tournament stream from that one location. We can like make some stuff like that happen. So there's a lot of ways to be creative. Being flexible and being creative are like 2 things that you and I pride ourselves on, Tor.
Totally.
So there's there's that. We're going to do what we can to do that. I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, great show. I'm just
Started
still
with Debbie in the
so stoked
restroom,
about
ended with her in the restroom. I don't know what else to say except for great job to everybody. Remember that practice, perfect practice makes a perfect performance. And enjoy peace.
BehindTheRock.org, promo code Sharky1, referral ID 6771.
No,
We're looking forward to seeing you in our season finale tournament. That promo code will get your account set up for only $2 for the entire year. And you've got 4 weeks to get your rating so that you can enter this tournament with us. We're really looking forward to connecting with you. Until next time, enjoy yourselves.